Welcome to the channel. We are back at it again. Today, the main news that is widespread across X is that the latest OpenAI's model GPT-5.5, which also people are referring to as the Spud, which the news about which actually came out. So it is very probable that Spud is referring to GPT 5.5. Although I do not promote the chances of GPT 5.5 coming out by April 23rd is 74% as you see over here. And well, if the masses are betting huge amounts on a very specific date, then I think there could be some information from the insiders which could have spread far and beyond. And well, by April 23rd, so it's likely gonna come out in the next 4 days, unless there's any hiccup in the process. And in one of my previous videos, I mentioned that OpenAI's president Greg Brockman really gave one interview in which he said that this upcoming AI model, which is internally codenamed Spud, and it could be referring to GPT 5.5, is the culmination of 2 years of research. And a lot of you see websites have covered this news, and the thing is that in his own words, it's 2 years worth of research that is coming to fruition. I think the folks at Claude are gonna lose sleep over this. And then in his interview, we can see that he pointed out that it can do things that it wasn't able to do before. The frustrating moments where AI doesn't quite get it and needs you to over explain are going away. I have been quite big on minimal prompting and, well, slowly and gradually at your own pace building your context with the AI large language model, whichever you are using. And I think that this is where it's heading. Minimal prompting is like super convenient. However, the thing is that the model needs to know your context, need to have knowledge about you, your company, or whatever you are doing. And if you are doing minimal prompting, then you need to build it over time. But I think with this new update, there is going to be some changes and AI will do most of the heavy lifting. And then I came across this one post, which I think that, well, gives us an idea that things are moving towards the direction of the Spud model being released quite soon. So it says that OpenAI just shadow dropped a massive GPT Pro update and it is completely slaughtering Claude Opus 4.7 in front end coding. Although there is no official announcement, no release notes, but the performance gap is suddenly staggering. So they ran a head to head benchmark across GPT Pro, Gemini 3.1 Pro, and Claude Opus 4.7. The user interface, user experience implementation isn't even close anymore. Now, this is the interesting part. I do not know if this is the highly anticipated Spud model dropping a week earlier, but massive architectural shift is everywhere. Response latency has dropped significantly, spatial and visual understanding has skyrocketed. Front end design implementation is now definitely SOTA. Well, SOTA is referring to state of the art. Then it says we ran comprehensive image to code and text to code test, and in every single reference image scenario, GPT Pro's design fidelity crushed both Gemini 3.1 Pro and Claude Opus 4.7. But this is where it gets crazy. When explicitly prompted to make the coded UI 100% identical to the reference image, GPT Pro didn't just write better CSS, it engaged outright reward hacking. So the model autonomously cropped the exact UI elements from the provided reference images and injected them into the code. That's a lot of heavy lifting done by GPT. Now there are some examples in this post which shown the reference image and then they have also shown the video of the code. So this was the reference image and this happens to be the code that it developed. Interesting. I think it's similar. Then again, this was the reference image and this happens to be the code that the GPT Pro generated. Again, this was the reference image, seems like from some clothing website. And now you see this is the code generated. Each and everything looks similar. Interesting, guys. Again, this is the reference image and this is the code. Oh my goodness, guys. I think people can copy best of the best websites and user interfaces out there with this upcoming update. Now, this particular generation was done from text to code and there's no reference image. And see, it made this user interface in China. I think it's Korean language or what? Let me know down in the comments. So guys, I think the AI wars are definitely at their peak, and every AI company is dropping new updates almost like every other week. And the general updates, new features being shipped, it's being updated by the hour. And well, we know Claude was at the frontiers of all this. OpenAI is also doing great, but with this Spud model, it seems like it's gonna put it well far ahead of the other competitors. And who knows that Claude might have to release the mythos that they were talking about, is which they said is super dangerous. Now, guys, you have to let me know down in the comments if you think that the GPT 5.5 is being released before April 23rd or not. I'm quite excited. Well, you have to let me know your opinions. And well, right now I was recording this video from my car. I was going to work. I have a night shift, but we are on top of the news and updates that are coming through. And well, if you wanna keep updated with everything, do support the channel with a like, with a subscribe, or a thoughtful comment. And I'll see you in another video. And right now on the screen, YouTube suggests that you watch this video. It would be relevant to your interests, and we'll see each other very soon. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.